What's standing in your way to achieve what you want in life? And how can you overcome it? I have some tips for you today. Let's talk removing the resistance on today's Dear Single Women's podcast. Hi, ladies. Welcome to the podcast. The Dear Single Women's podcast is a podcast for single women who are healing, growing, living, and loving their lives on their terms. I'm your host, Shanintra, and I thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Shanintra Says. Please follow the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you can find Dear Single Women there. Thank you, ladies. Thank you always for listening in. I'm glad to be with you on this Monday. Yay me. Growth. The podcast is up on its usual day. So thank you for your patience last week. Thank you for the support. I'm glad you guys are enjoying, and I hope that you continue to enjoy the podcast. So today we're going to talk about resistance and how it gets in your way from accomplishing what it is you want to accomplish out of life. This is something I think that plagues us all. This episode is kind of an extension of last week's, talking about imposter syndrome. But what is resistance? Let's talk about what it is first and some ways it shows up in your life. Resistance is anything that will hinder you from accomplishing what it is you hope to accomplish. It's the thing that stands between you and your goals. And I am not just referring to long-term, large, lofty goals, but even the small, everyday things that you hope to accomplish. Resistance is anything that will get in the way of that. And I thought of this episode because I experienced that this week. I actually experienced overcoming it this week. And so I'm proud of myself. But the ladies need to hear this. I'm proud of myself, and I want to share this with you guys. So I have a goal of every day I check in with myself using the atomic habits method, which means 1 to 3 minutes a day. You do something for 40 days, and by the end of the 40, it will be a habit. And it's just because you are able to do it. You're able to do it in a small degree every single day. So it really solidifies and puts that habit into you, where you're more likely to stick with it. So one of my atomic habits that I was working on since, what was this? Because it was 40 days. So I think sometime in end of November, I started this, was to check in with myself 1 to 3 minutes a day. And just to sit with myself, think about how I'm feeling, how am I doing? And I think that's just something that all people, all women should incorporate, because life gets busy and sometimes we don't notice things are going wrong until everything's on fire. So checking in with yourself 1 to 3 minutes a day is a habit you want to have. And so first I had it where I would focus on what I call frame meditation. I did talk about this in a previous episode, I think, but if I haven't, I will link you to this guy called Aaron. I think his name is Doty. He talks about just getting into your frame. If you are an empath, if you're somebody where you feel things on a deeper level, or what they call a highly sensitive person, which doesn't mean that, you can't take a joke. It just means that you are in tune with a lot of things around you. It can be hard to bring that energy and that awareness into you, where you're more in tune with yourself than you are with others. A highly sensitive person will pick up on the small thing, like someone made a face and it's just you picked up on it. What's that about? And when you think of it, how many times or things do people do that you could easily always be attuned to? And so a frame meditation allows you just to bring the awareness in. I'm not going to tune so much into others. I have to train myself to tune into me as an empath. So if you are an empath, you may want to check out that video that I'll link you to. Well, I am an empath. I know that about myself. Awareness is the first step. I am an empath. I know that about me. So I have to be intentional about checking in with myself more and more. Everyone should check in, but empaths should do it more and more. And so 1 to 3 minutes a day, I check in with myself. And one of the things I wanted to start doing with that check-in was the frame meditation, where you stare at a candle and you just breathe in, and you're bringing that awareness into you as you stare at the candle. And when you breathe out, the awareness is connecting with the world. Which is, you take your eyes off the candle, you look at everything around, look at what's around you. So now that I've kind of explained what the frame meditation is, it was on my goals to do that 1 to 3 minutes a day. Well, I haven't been doing it because of resistance. There's always something that gets in the way of that. Whether it be time, whether it be, most of it really was not time. It was just as simple as, I can't find my candles. I moved recently, as I told you guys, and so things are everywhere, and it's just as simple as, I can't find my candles, and so I can't do my frame meditation. Something as simple as me not being able to find the candle was getting in the way of me doing what I need to do for me. And so what I decided to do, how did I remove that resistance? How did I overcome that? I just simply went to the store and bought a candle. And it may not seem like a big deal, but when you consider the fact that I have like 5 candles in here, they're just put in a box somewhere, it's like, should just find it. But no, we have to change that mindset. It's not, I should just find it, because not only am I not doing my frame meditation, but now I'm busy searching for a candle. And I'm stressed out because I can't find the candle. And now it's not helping me in the long run. It's making things actually worse. My anxiety level is increasing because I can't find the tool that I need to do this thing that I need to do. Well, remove the resistance. Go buy a candle. And that was kind of hard for me to, it used to be hard for me to do. So to see how I just literally over the weekend went to Bath and Body Works and bought a candle and spent the $16.95 which it was on sale. So I got it $10 off, just went and spent the $17 and got my candle. And now I could do my frame meditation, which will help me for the work week that's to come, where I'm meeting more new people and dealing with different personality types and all those things that could threaten my sense of peace, well-being, safety. Now that's not going to happen because I removed the resistance that was stopping me from doing what I needed to do to remain at peace and centered. And I was like, wow, I was just so proud of myself because it just came out. I didn't have to talk myself into it. I just was at the store. We're going to grab this candle. And that was growth for me, because it would usually be, well, you should just go find the candles you have in your house. And it's like, no, I should not just do anything. I'm going to do what I need to do to make this as easy as possible for me to get what I want and what I need. And so that's a lesson for, in general, in life, ladies. Remove the resistance. Anything that's going to get in the way of you accomplishing what it is you need to do, simply remove it. Buy the candle if it means the difference between you doing your centering and not. Get it. Let a friend help you out. If it's the difference between you getting what you need done versus not, let the friend help you. I'm not very good with checking in on these dating apps. And so that is a resistance because who knows, my husband could be on there. So what do? I have a friend who actually likes looking on there and will check in on there for me. She doesn't mind doing it. So I simply hand her my phone and let her do initial vetting for me. And she clears out my likes and my messages in no time flat. Remove the resistance. Instead of me trying to make this happen, she's going to do it for me. That's it. Just hand my phone over. And so at the end of the day, what I need to get done still gets done. And the resistance has been moved. It's not in my way. So what are some areas in your life that you need to really be intentional about removing the thing that's getting in your way of getting what you need and what it is you want? Do you need to put your shoes near the door because you want to be consistent with going to the gym or going running? And maybe you just need to have everything laid out right there. Do you need to meal prep because your goal is to not eat takeout so much? So maybe you need to plan ahead what it is you're going to eat. Is the answer to just do the thing that is getting in your way? I've certainly experienced that a little bit. I'm like, okay, I know Monday's here. I need to record my episode. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm just like, okay, I have to do that. But I also got to do my juicing because I want to make my smoothies for the week. I need to eat breakfast. I went to bed late. All these things, all these little things I'm putting in the way. And you know what I did? Walked over. This is another way to remove resistance. It's just as simple as doing the thing. I walked over to my bookshelf, grabbed my microphone, and just put it right there on my table. And then, yeah, made my breakfast, had my coffee, loaded the dishwasher, did what I had to do, but guess what was right there in front of me? That was a way to remove the resistance. Just as simple as saying, I'm going to put my mic right here near my phone. So when it's time to record, I don't have to say, well, let me go find where the mic is. Boom, right there, resistance removed. And that's why I'm recording this episode right now. Sometimes it just requires you to step out and do the thing. Because resistance will show up big and small. Because there's only a finite number of hours in the day, and there's always something else you could be doing with that time. But it doesn't advance your goals if you will always find an excuse or a reason to not do the thing. Your goals will not be advanced. Yeah, my smoothies aren't made, but I'm here and I'm making my podcast, and that was my goal, to be on time this week, right? Remove the resistance. Big or small, anything that's going to get in your way, go ahead and just remove it. Spend the money if you have to. Lay your stuff out in advance if you need to. Or sometimes just push through and meet your larger goal. Acknowledge the resistance that's there. Acknowledge it and continue to push through. So what are some areas in your life where resistance is showing up? And what do you think you can do to get rid of it? Will you try any of my tips? Set yourself up for success. Acknowledge its presence and that it's not a foe, but it can actually work in your favor. Will you acknowledge that you have the power and the ability to push through? Will you try one thing to make resistance power feel less and less? Those are all tools that you have in your tool belt. Those are all things that you can try, things you can do. And I hope that you will do one of them to get closer to your goals. And I promise you, it becomes easier and easier. I didn't think twice about getting that candle because it was about the bigger goal in my head. And so I just want to encourage you to remove the resistance in whatever form it takes and whatever way that works for you. Thank you for listening, ladies, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the Dear Single Women's podcast.